Hello, I am back. Hopefully the review for Scarlet Witch has been uploaded, but until then, here I am. Today's review is going to be on the Marvel Legends retro card Green Goblin. Now, before I move on to the box and the figure itself, I want to note that this is a little bit of a custom because I custom painted the eyes. I thought the original eyes looked really terrible. And also, if you remember, I made a teaser video about all the movies I've seen in 2022. Well, originally that was going to be a big mega video, but honestly, I feel like I should just cancel it. It's too much. It's too much for me to handle to watch every movie, and honestly, it would just kill my motivations to watch every single movie. So, but in order to show that I've watched all the movies I've watched in 2022 or 2023, etc., I'll just make a video edit of it. So expect around the end of 2023. I know we're in February, it's not even December, but once it's the end of 2023, I will then make that video come true. So anyways, yes, this is the retro card Green Goblin. There's the box right there. Really, this thing is pretty cheap, even though in reality it's pretty expensive. So there's the box, there's the card. Green Goblin with glider and pumpkin bomb. Nothing on the bottom, nothing on the sides, and even nothing on the top. It's mainly the back. Pause to read the description of this figure. And you can even see the alternate head and also the other figures in this line, and just more UPC and stuff and whatnot. Alright, now let's move on to the actual review. And just before I move on to that, actually, this is a re-review on this figure because I feel like I might have accidentally deleted all the footage, so I'm starting from scratch, unfortunately. So, yeah, let's get right on into it. Let's move on to, of course, the paint and the sculpt. Now, the sculpt is basically a sort of reuse of the previous Green Goblin from the Sandman wave. He had, except the new pieces are like the head sculpt, as you could see. I did a repaint, as you could see. The eyes are more yellow based, and yes, I did mess up one of the pupils, or messed up both, but honestly, I'm terrible at making pupils. But yes, this was the original figure. Originally, he had the worst looking eyes I've ever seen. I'll show you right now. That figure had terrible eyes. But honestly, yeah, this is really well done. The teeth and the sculpt are well made. You can see the little dirtiness on that. It's nasty. But it's just really nice. It looks more like a costume, yet doesn't look too over realistic. I mean, you could say that's one complaint I can have with the original Green Goblin, is just like the head looks a little too much, but it's interesting. Arms are basically the same thing with a nice chainmail material. They're really nicely well done and nicely sculpted, although maybe a wash could kind of highlight more of the detail, but honestly, not too big of a deal. I like and they went with these sleeves. Gives them a lot more posability. But my major sort of complaint are these hands. They're good hands, don't get me wrong. But it's just like, I wish he came with more stuff, you know? I feel like he's a character who would come with more stuff. But anyways, abdomen, the torso, pretty basic, actually. No defining, there is some defining muscle with his abs, but like over here towards his chest, nothing much. On his back, there's a hole here for some reason. Maybe it's for a peg. You can even see his belt. It's nicely sculpted, and you can even see his little satchel of pumpkin bombs or little man purse, whatever it is. And you can even see this little scarf. Major complaint I do have with this figure is that this piece and this little neck collar or whatever this is, scarf, tough thing, whatever it is called, it's very loose, so it makes it really frustrating, especially this piece. Especially when it wants to come down most of the time, it really does. Again, legs are really nicely well done. However, again, it's pinned because this is an older release. This is before they started doing the new pinless technology, but it's nicely well done. You can still see the detail there. You can see the nice jester-like boots. And yeah, it's nicely well done. I actually like this figure. It's very simple. It harkens back to, you know, classic Green Goblin. It's not really a very highly modern Green Goblin, so yeah, it's really good. Now moving on to the other things. Here's the glider. It's really shiny, not gonna lie. It's like a sort of gunmetal color. There's where the feet go in, and I presume if you had the Demo Goblin Build-A-Figure, this would probably be helpful. But yeah, this is nicely well done, nicely well sculpted. But when I think of Green Goblin gliders, I mainly think of something like, I don't know, something like the 2002 Spider-Man. When I think of Green Goblin, I think of that design first thing. So, but honestly, this isn't too big of a deal. I am okay with just having a classic Green Goblin. I actually like having both the classic and the modern and the cinematic version of Green Goblin, so it's not that big of a deal. And you can see that. But I wish there was like something here. And then you could see there's the pumpkin bomb. I think it's the same as every other accessory. They even use the same thing with Hobgoblin, which is really sad. Now, moving on to the alternate head. This is a new piece. This is actually really nicely well done. And it tabs in perfectly. The sculpt is nice. Even like the drip with the hair. But before I put it on, I forgot to mention there are some inaccuracies. If you had to compare this with the actual model or the actual design from the show, he never had chainmail armor. He never had this chainmail, chainmail pants or legs, chainmail arms. He never had that in the show. So, unfortunately, that's a little inaccurate. But, again, as a standard Green Goblin, it works really well. Now, if you want to move his head, pop this off and see what I mean, that this little piece comes off too easily. And once you put this head on, you can make a Norman Osborn. And it's Unmasked Green Goblin. It's really awesome. Be warned, I had to go through a ton of WD-40, had to put this in hot water a couple of times, considering it would creak the plastic, and it was like, oh, no way am I gonna do that on this really old figure. Well, not really old, but really rare figure. For some reason, this figure is more expensive than the original release. Anyways, let's move on to the articulation. So, articulation, nothing special. Again, reuse, but it's still nicely well done and gets the job done. Mention some complaints. Now, head is on the usual neck ball joint, not on a barbell joint as Spider-Man. You can look up this far, which is good. You can look down this far, which is good. No, there's a little bit of tilt, but it definitely goes all the way around. It's a ball joint disc hinge. Arms can swivel in and out. Really nicely well done. Bicep swivel. Double bend at the elbow. Kind of gets a little hindered by this cuff here. He has a hinge jointed wrist swivel. Ab crunch is kind of the main issue. He can only crunch about this far, and then for some reason he can crunch back this far. It's like McFarlane Toys, man. He has a waist swivel. Ball jointed hips. You can go like this. You can kick back that far, like that. And if you want to, double joint a knee, thigh swivel, and a calf joint, hinge joint, pivot. And overall posability is really good. And I'll show you with the glider right now. And if you want to put him in the glider, you simply put of course, there's little cuffs here. So put this feet in. You have to make sure it's nice and snug, so you have to push it in, because then it stays on there perfectly. And then you get this really cool, intimidating Green Goblin. Give him a flight stand and automatically this thing is awesome. So yeah, posability is good. It gets the job done and it works really well. Again, some limitations, but honestly it's nothing too bad. So yeah, I really like this. Now let's move on to the size comparison. Size comparison between Electro from The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Green Goblin from the original trilogy. Yes, I still own this figure, so I actually got this figure, and God, this is not actually gonna cost me a pretty penny. So once I show the review, I'll show you. Once I do the review on this guy and other Spider-Man toys, on other classic Spider-Man toys, I will tell you the price. But this figure is really good, and just moving Electro out of the way, Dookie. Yeah, the movie. This is an older figure. This is by Toy Biz, and it has been re-released by Hasbro. I really hope they make a movie Goblin soon, but, you know, I don't know if we can have nice things, considering it's going to be released in, 2024. Meanwhile, SH Figure Arts released their promo pics for their new Green Goblin, which is, like, from No Way Home, way before Hasbro, which is so sad. But anyways, enough ranting about Hasbro's decisions. Let me discuss about this figure and my final thoughts. Oh, final thoughts on this figure. Honestly, this figure is really good. I mainly got this because I just genuinely love Green Goblin. And honestly, I actually like this figure. Yes, I'm playing with the older one. It's a good figure, has a nice sculpt to it, even if it's reuse. And it could work well if you own this figure. It could work well if you don't have the original release. If you have both, it's also good. You can probably make one as Norman Osborn and one of them as Harry Osborn. It could work really well. But in terms of should I recommend it, it depends. This figure, for some reason, is so expensive, it's kind of insane. I don't know why it costs, like, what, $100-something when this is, like, kind of a reuse. I don't know how much the original costs, but damn, that's quite a lot for this figure. So I either suggest, if you can find one for a good deal like I have, then I really suggest you buy it. You buy it quick, because, again, people are going to be looking out for it. Or you could take the alternative option. Wait until there's probably either going to be a new release of the Green Goblin or a new release of the movie Green Goblin. Unless you're someone who loves the comics, then you may as well save and try to find one online for a good price. Anyways, again, out of 10, I will probably give this an 8. I don't know whether it's because I'm probably biased and towards my love of Green Goblin, but it's just like, it's such a good figure, not gonna lie. It's so much fun that I kind of hope that I kind of wish it was a little bit re-released in the Spider-Man wave, much like others. So, yeah, wish it was re-released. But anyways, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, and I will see you all later with another review. Bye-bye.